Good afternoon, sir. Visweswara, sir. Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Sambashiva. How are you?
Yes, fine, sir. Fine, sir. How about you, sir?
Yeah, good. Very
Yes, yes. We'll start within 5 minutes, sir. The session will be started at exact 2 o'clock, sir.
Yeah.
Sumana madam. So good afternoon, everyone. Shiva sir, we will begin, sir.
Yes, yes.
Honorable Speaker for today's session and organizing secretary, respected conveners and members of the organizing team, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming all of you for this third day of International FDP on recent trends in transforming life sciences, focus on academia and industry symbiosis. So the theme for today's session is biomedical sciences. So the main objective of this FDP is to know about the basic applications in the field of life sciences, academia and industry. So this FDP program will help all the faculty members in enhancing their innovative thinking and scientific knowledge. So I would like to express my gratitude to the speaker of the day, Dr. Pasupuleti Visweswara garu, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. So I hope you all have an engaging and enriching session ahead. So with this opening remark, now I would like to invite Dr. Neeraja garu from City College to give a brief information of the college. Neeraja madam.
Yeah, I'm just now allowed to open my video and audio also. Thank you, Pushpa ma'am, and thank you for giving an opportunity to speak 2 to 3 minutes about our prestigious institution. Actually, Principal Sir has to be here, but due to unavoidable circumstances, he was not there, and he has asked me to give a report on our college. And of course, as many of the participants knew that Government City College is one of the oldest colleges in the erstwhile Hyderabad state, ruled by Nizam. It was founded by Nizam Osman Ali Khan in 1921. The college works with vision holistic development of the students in academia and beyond academia with conventional and technology-assisted student-centric pedagogical models. Ever since its inception, it has always been at its vibrant best. An institution nurtured its students carefully by hundreds of ablest intellectuals, starting from Sri Syed Muhammad Azamzan, who was the first principal of this college. And the college was clearly, I can say that it was represented by the soul of Telangana youth since its inception. And it was the witness to events turning into histories, beginning with the City College instance for protection of Mulki rules and Mulki rights in 1952. And to students evolve into administrators, leaders, not just for Telangana, but for the entire country. Some of the illustrious alumni like Sri Sivaraj Patil, P. Shivasankar, Arshad Ayub, Murray Chennareddy, and three of them are our governors, Parchuri Gopalakrishna, J.K. Bharavi, Professor S.V. Satyanarayana are some of the alumni who worked in various fields. And our great personalities associated with the college include Professor K. Jayasankar, who is widely regarded as the father of Telangana. And the college was given autonomy status in 2004-05. And recently, we have had our peer team visit for our third cycle of extension for autonomous status. And as on today, the college is given an intake of 1,500. All the seats will be filled every year. All the seats will be filled, and overall, the student strength of the college is 4,500. And we have 5 post-graduation courses which are also opted by students in the first place. And we have more than 50% of our faculty are with the PhD degree, and most of the other faculty members are also pursuing their PhD, and they have a high research profile. And our college has a very great building. As you all know, it is one of the heritage buildings found by our government, Grade 2 heritage building. And today we are just foreseeing the first year students to enter our college for this academic year. And our college stood first in admissions on DOST portal every year ever since those online admissions were started. And the college was graded with 2.76 CGPA with B++ grade in the previous NAC, and we are about to go for NAC for the next cycle in 2024. And this is a great opportunity for the college to have a collaboration with other institutions in Hyderabad to conduct such an good FDP in life sciences, and which is also an international FDP, where people from other places, other countries also participate in this program. I hope from the day one, all the participants are taking something back to their colleges, and wish all the best for the coming days. And till the end, I wish you all the best. I wish you all the success. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I request Mrs. Farheen Ayesha Bejis to introduce the speakers for today's session. Ayesha.
Aisha, unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. A very good afternoon to one and all. So I, Farheen Ayesha Bejis, lecturer at Postgraduate Department of Biotechnology, Government City College, would like to take this opportunity to introduce the speaker for the day, Dr. Pasupuleti Visweswara Rao, sir, Research Coordinator and Head of Internalization Unit at the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, University of Malaysia, Sabah. Sir is currently serving as a head for non-communicable diseases research areas. Among his teaching and research career, spanning over the past 14 years, Sir has taken up diverse roles besides teaching and research itself, formerly serving as a Deputy Director and Director at the Center of Excellence and founding Chairman for Animal Ethics Committee at the University Malaysia Kelantan. He has his dedicated years of research experience in the field of biotechnology, nanoparticle research towards biomedical application. Among his works include Sir being a visiting researcher across nations as the likes of Japan, Macau, Indonesia, India, and Thailand. Sir has also been a vivid presentee and speaker at various international conferences. Adding to his credibility is publication of more than his 90 research papers in peer-reviewed international journals, 6 book chapters under highly reputed publishers. He being an editorial member and reviewer for numerous international journals, apart from being the founding editor of Borneo Epidemiology Journal. Among his accolades includes Young Scientist Award, Young Researcher Award, Excellence Service Award, to name a few. Besides these, Sir has also been conferred upon by an Excellence Award for being an outstanding contributing reviewer by Elsevier Publishers in the areas of oncology, material science and engineering, magnetic science and materials. It is indeed an honor for us to welcome you, sir. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So now it is over to you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, hope my slides are visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sambashiva, for having me here for this International FDP
Welcome, sir.
on recent trends in transforming life sciences, focus on academia and industry symbiosis, and the moderator for your kind and generous introduction. And let me thank all the three excellent academic institutions, which is Nizam College, City College, and Loyola Academy for having this particular international FDP, which is emphasizing more on industry academia symbiosis. And as I usually have lots of discussions with Dr. Sambashiva, so this is one of the unique FDPs, I would say, as this is not much focusing on particular subject. This is mainly on relationships between academia and the research industries. So hopefully I will be delivering my talk on how the industries are cooperating with academia and how academia can approach industries to get numerous grants, and how our team has excelled in getting lots of industry grants, patenting, all this stuff. Not much into research, maybe a few slides I would like to introduce about my research, then we will just proceed into the symbiosis. How each lecturer, because as a lecturer or as an assistant professor or as an associate professor or academician, we should focus more on various components, not only just teaching, even research and other aspects as well. Well, so this is what exactly we are going to discuss today. Academia, industry, collaborations, whether these are sustainable or not. If sustainable, how long? And why these collaborations are required? Why we really need them? Whether it is important or what for we should have these collaborations, and what is sustainability, why we should have long-term plans with industries. All these aspects are really important for any academic member or any academic staff of any university. So here, if you observe, I have clearly depicted what I wanted to say for today is planning. The first and foremost thing, even as an academic staff or academia member, we should plan what we should do in order to have international collaborations. So it is not just happening that we will, if we want industry collaborations, we will just get it. No, we should be having a plan, a pre-plan to have industry collaborations. How to approach them, which company to approach, what is your research, how they will accept your approach. If you have a very good proposal, whether they will accept or not. If not accepting, what you should do. So all these plans should be there in your proposal, and the plan should be in a meticulous way. Next, proactiveness. Usually industry members or industry collaborators or industry partners, they sometimes are not available to us. So we should be more proactive in getting in touch with them. You have to really, follow up about your meetings and about your proposals for the collaborations. Then in academia, usually what we do, we teach and we do research. We train the students. So that's all. Beyond our limits, we will, most of the time, we will focus on these things. However, research is one of the main components, as you were listening to other speakers as well. Even yesterday, it was clearly depicted how higher education institutions need to focus more on research, need to focus more on collaborations, need to focus more on international collaborations, industry partners, so that it is not only good for the academician, as a researcher, as an academic staff, it is also good for your department, not only good for your department, your faculty, not only good for your faculty, for your college or university. However, nowadays, most of the measurements, they are taking for rankings, are all these components. Then if you observe international collaborations, so if you talk about international collaborations, there are wide range of collaborations and wide range of grants are opening every year at every at a particular time. Say for example, a particular grant from Japan or UK or US, they are opening at the same time or same date or same month approximately. So which means we have to more focus on international relations as well and international collaborations too. And external collaborations, this may be inter-faculty and also inter-university or even interstate or even international. So whatever, if you are collaborating outside your department, so you are collaborating with the external parties or external collaborators. However, we all need to think of multidisciplinary aspects. Now we no more single discipline or now no more narrow down research. Now it is completely interdisciplinary and also multidisciplinary. So external collaborations lead to good research, impactful research, and also lead to sustainable outcomes, either in any terms. It can be financial way, or it can be in publication manner, it can be in patents. And interest. So you have to understand what is your interest with other partners, other collaborators. Say, for example, you are from Osmania University and you are trying to collaborate with another university. You need to understand what is your strength and what is their strength. It is not all the time, I don't have anything, I should depend on somebody else. It is always win-win situation. We have to remember that when there is a collaboration, if it is in win-win situation, that can go for very long way. And that kind of collaborations will have more sustainabilities than the dependency or dependent collaborations. And another thing, short-term plans, long-term plans. You have to understand what is your collaboration with that partner. Either it can be industry or it can be university. If it is industry, whether it is small-scale industry, SME, or large-scale industry, which is multinational company. So that accordingly you can understand the company or your partner in a better manner, so that you can approach them for the short-term or long-term goals, or short-term or long-term collaborations with sustainability. When you are having these short-term plans and long-term plans, you need to have this hand-in-hand cooperation, which is very tough in most of the collaborations. Especially when you are dealing with industries, they will look for outcomes, outcome-based. We are looking for something else. So there is hand-in-hand cooperation is mandatory. And another thing is, when you are working with various types of collaborators, ethics and integrity is most important. And sometimes patience is also play a bigger role when you are collaborating with other partners. Sometimes they may be going slow, you may be going very fast. And sometimes you may be going very slow, they may be going very fast. That is where hand-in-hand cooperation is required. And you also need to have your plan. Say, for example, you are going in a slow manner, then you should know where to speed up. How you can give your better cooperation in other ways to the partners. Internationalization. So this is what, as even yesterday, the speaker also has clearly emphasized on internationalization, how internationalization is giving impact and also is giving prioritized in the rankings as well. Even it can be whatever the rankings the universities are getting now. So the internationalization is one of the core components where faculty mobilities, student exchange, and international grants comes into this particular aspect. Finally, we have to talk about sustainability. Whatever the collaboration you talk about, whatever the collaboration we discuss, and whatever the collaboration it is happening between two laboratories, university laboratory and industry laboratory, should lead for sustainability. But most of the time, what the researchers and what the company people, they usually go with the different goals. It can be short term. If short term, they just wind up the business, wind up the research within stipulated time. Say, for example, it is 1 year, then they will try to wind up the process within 1 year time. If it is long term, say, for example, 5 years or even 10 years, so they will be having the plans accordingly. And another thing we must remember is the term is always depends on how big is your project, how impactful is your project, and how large in the sense how many regions it is covering. So based on that, the project can go on in the long term. So whatever the term the project may be, sustainability is most important. And to make it sustainable, trust is another important thing, which is a hidden part of any research collaboration. Coming to my research thoughts and thought process, it all started when I was in my master's. So I got my internship in Biocon, I think which many of the participants might know about this Indian first biotech company. So I was literally dreaming to enter into this company. Finally, I entered. Then there I have started my new dimensions of thought process, how to go with biomedical research, how exactly the drug discovery or how natural products can really help the human wellness or human mankind. So this was the work first which we were doing on lovastatin production and optimization from different species of fungi, which was Aspergillus. So we used to have different types of mutations. We used to use various types of mutations in the colonies, and then we try to check the productivity of lovastatin production. So in fact, the time which I was there, the productivity was slowly increasing, and later on, it was really boomed up into a good, large-scale productivity. However, after lovastatin production, there are so many advancements in the statin production, and statins are the cholesterol-lowering agents which are widely used across the globe. So after lovastatin, there were so many types of statins have been emerged. Sambashiva, Pravastatin, Lovastatin, Visweswara, and so on. So now people are more depending on Visweswara and Lovastatin. And this was the complete structure of the scenario. And the right side of the picture, you can observe how the HMG-CoA is arranged in a strongly associated tetramer with bipatrate active sites. So you can observe the sites here, and also the different types of loops formed by various kinds of residues are being observed here. And here you have different types of gene clusters, which the blue genes are encoded by enzymes, which operates the metabolic pathway of this particular lovastatin. And here you observe different types of genes, which are encoding they are encoding the carriers. And orange ones you can observe here. Orange genes encode regulatory molecules, and finally the gray ones encoding the proteins. So whereas these are all comes into the process and also finally into mechanism of action. And from then on, I was literally thinking of natural products, and I was really reading about medicinal plants, herbal medicine, Ayurveda, all those stuff. Then finally, it came to my mind to work on diabetes research using natural products. Then I have chosen extractions with biological activities, where lots of biological activities have been done, including starting from simple biological activities, antimicrobial, antioxidant. Of course, diabetes is one of the main core research. Later on, nanoparticle research was one of the very emerging areas during my studies. Then I have added this particular component into the research. And from then on, most of my research is into nanoparticles. And later on, when I took the charge as director for Center of Excellence, so the niche area is one of the niche areas was to develop bioproducts using biological sources, where I had lots of opportunities to deal with companies, to negotiate with companies, and also to propose various types of proposals to the industries, including small, medium enterprises, and also big companies as well. So why natural products? As we all know that medicinal plants or herbs, whatever we talk about natural products, they are very less toxic. And many of the herbs we eat as raw, and also we are using for cooking purposes, especially India, and also other Southeast Asian countries. So they are not only beneficial in giving, as a food, and also as raw material, they are also giving lots of medicinal values. They provide lots of medicinal properties or medicinal values to the human beings in the form of antioxidants. They have various types of polyphenols in the form of secondary metabolites. They usually provide you various kinds of health benefits. So the mechanism of action, anyways, I'm not going to describe it here. And we all should know that plant as a source of bioactive molecules. Whenever we talk about biological molecules or bioactive molecules from the plants or from natural sources, so it is always about various types of extractions, and it is always about various types of isolations. So, however, it is a tedious job. Whenever you want to talk about biological molecules or bioactive fractions or bioactive molecules from medicinal plants, it is a tedious job, and you also need to have lots of facilities to properly isolate a single compound. Once you have identified your single compound, then certainly they will be having very significant biological activities, including whatever the target is your disease. But in my case, my target disease was diabetes. So most of the time I used to work on diabetes. And few of the pictures I have given here, Catharanthus roseus, which many of us might know about this. This is one of the very well-known medicinal plant which has anti-cancer properties. And the second one, Rhinacanthus nastus. So this is what my main research was carrying out. The whole research was completely dependent on this particular plant, which is available in Southeast Asia and also in India as well. And here I have given turmeric, which is widely being used as an antibiotic, and also in India and other parts of the world, they regularly use it for cooking purposes as well. However, an interesting thing I wish to share with you all, when talking about curcumin, or when talking about this particular compound, it is always very free for us in terms of availability, in terms of usage. However, if you visit advanced countries like Australia, the US, the UK, they are selling this particular purified curcumin, 20 pills for $50 or 20 pills for $100, which is very expensive, and they really know the value of it. However, we are using it for everyday purpose and regular activities. So we are using it for different kinds of areas. And you can observe here why I have mentioned aspirin, because until the plant-based medicines was, since thousands of years, the medicinal plants or Ayurvedic or herbs are being used to treat various types of diseases, until the synthesis of aspirin ushered in an area dominated by pharmaceutical industry. And now, if you observe various kinds of pharmaceutical industries, they mainly focus on chemically synthesized compounds. And there are various drawbacks why the pharmaceutical companies or nutraceutical companies are not going forward with the medicinal plant bioactive compounds. Why only few bioactive compounds are being marketed or commercially available in the And this is basic, very basic extraction methods we usually use for any kind of extractions. And anyways, this is not the important task for today. So crude extracts, isolated compounds, and nanoparticles are the main research areas which we mainly focus. When we talk about bioactive compounds from plants, so as I have mentioned earlier as well, it is a tedious job. When you are trying to identify the bioactive compounds, you should go for various types of fractionations. If you are working with food extract, it's very easy and as simple as that. However, if you are going with biologically active fragments of compounds or biologically active molecules, so it is really tough and it is very intense. You have to use lots of chemicals. That is what I have given here as a negative. Large volumes of solvents and lower extraction efficacy is, these are the negative parts of this particular biological active compound isolation. And positive is it's the easiest and simple methods. So you can just do if you are working on isolation. So you just do the same activity every day. And after isolation, you have to go for biological activities based on your experimental design, whatever it is, antimicrobial, antioxidant, anti-diabetic, anti-cancer, or neurodegenerative disorders, etc. Another thing, when we are discussing about drug discovery or natural products, so what is the real challenge? Why many companies are not going forward with the final product with the natural products, and why the commercialization aspect is not succeeding well? Why the biological products are depending on another technologies? Because solubility, stability, and selectivity, these are the major drawbacks when we are dealing with the medicinal plants or herbal extracts. However, when we are reporting the biological activities, we report that the activity is significant. However, when it goes to the commercialization process, I will be showing the process how they have to go. They have to proceed with other areas as well in the next slides. That is why nanotechnology is one of the most useful areas nowadays, and which is very booming area, which is really not new. However, we are using it as a new technology for biological synthesis of nanoparticles or even chemically synthesized molecules. Not only in this particular drug discovery and not only this particular medicinal biomedicines, this nanotechnology is entered into various types of fields as well. So the major advantages is improving solubility and stability, then also bioavailability and effects of nanoparticles. So usually whenever you are trying to deal with nanoparticles, bioavailability is more. So this is one of the most important aspects where anyone usually observes. And target specific drug delivery, since the molecule size or the particle size is lesser, when the particle size is lesser, the surface area volume is more, so the absorption capacity is high, so that it will absorb most of the or majority of the molecules, then it can deliver good delivery. This is the overall process how usually we do. We take the solid plant materials, and then we mix with the metallic salts. So finally, you get silver nanoparticles. So the nanoparticles are usually, they are not visible to the eyes. However, you can conform the nanoparticles with the color change here, and then once you get these particular nanoparticles, you have to go with various kinds of characterization methods. Then there are biomedical applications, whatever you design. From here, we only discuss about how drug delivery process occurs, and also why the industry and academia collaborations are required, and how people are successful with these particular collaborations and why some people are not successful with these kind of collaborations. First, let us talk about drug discovery process as one of the first and foremost important aspect is research and development. Then it has to go to preclinical studies, then clinical trials, finally review and approval. Whenever we talk about drug delivery or the discovery process, why research and development is most important, since this is the first and foremost task you conduct when you are trying to work with various types of chemically synthesized molecules or biologically synthesized molecules or biologically active molecules. So even you might be encountering this particular similar kind of information every time in this particular workshop. However, this is most important. That is why I wanted to show you how the research and development occurs and what exactly they try to tell when they are doing research and development in this first stage. Usually when we do the research, we try to identify the targets. So either in chemistry or even biotechnology or even natural product research, we try to identify the targets first. So what will be the drug effect? For that, we need to understand what is the mechanism. For that, we need to understand how exactly this molecule, once you synthesize this molecule, how this molecule will work. And then once you have this particular crude extracts or any basic source materials, then you have to screen for good information, which means if we are talking about compounds, then we need to talk about various types of molecules. So once you have hundreds of molecules or hundreds of impurities, usually in chemistry and biology, we usually go for extractions, then you need to sort out the impurities with various types of chromatography techniques. Then finally, lead identification. Once you got this lead, then you can go for further studies, which are preclinical studies. So even most of the researchers with less laboratory facilities, they do with the food extracts as well. And later on, if they have good facilities and good funding, good research supervision, they usually go with the isolations. So once you get your lead compound or lead identification, then you have to go with the clinical trials. Preclinical trials usually takes about 6 months to 1 year, based on the requirements of your study design. Once you have your preclinical studies, including in vitro studies, say for example, I work on diabetic activities, so I do in vitro studies first with various types of enzyme inhibitory activities, so that I can confirm that okay, these particular molecules or food extracts or biologically active molecules, they have the potential to inhibit this particular compound. So it may possess in vitro or in vivo anti-diabetic activities. Then we go with the in vivo studies. Once you are in vivo study, you have to comply with lots of research ethics and also animal ethics, where you will be having lots of groups of rats or animals, where you will be finalizing your study results and you will be concluding your research design and you will be approving or rejecting your hypothesis with your results. Then later on, you have to conform with the standards, how exactly your results can compare with the standards. Then these two are really very tedious and very tough, because once you have a significant results here, then if the researcher thinks that this is very good research and then this can go for clinical trials, then they have to go for phase 1 clinical trials, phase 2 clinical trials, and phase 3 clinical trials. However, the study designs and study population sample size vary from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. Finally, once it has passed this particular section, it goes to review, approval, and evaluation process. Approval. Once you get approval, once any product gets approval, then they are eligible and they are given approval to go for the bulk production, which means bulk manufacturing as a capsule. So they can go with various types of products. Then with that, the drug discovery process completes. Once we get this one, the individual is really successful with the products. And here, this is another important slide, even though it looks very busy slide. However, the information which I have given here is really important. Okay, since we are talking about academic drug discovery institutes and we are talking about academic and industry collaborations, so this is where usually the facilities here in Malaysia we call it as central research laboratories or COE, Center of Excellences, or Central Research Institute, where majority of the research instruments are available in that particular organization, in university. Even in Indian system also, many of our state universities and central universities, they have this kind of systems, but the name varies according to the agency which is providing that particular facility. Okay, let us have a look into this particular researcher. So these are researchers, and most of the time we depend on collaborations, either internal collaborations or external collaborations. Whatever we do, we can do. If we just do the research in our laboratory and then we just doing everything monopolized and then we can do, that is not a problem. However, if you want to expand, if you want to do more impactful research or impactful publications or impactful patents or impactful outcomes to the society, so then hand-in-hand cooperations are important, which are only possible with the collaborations. It can be internal collaborations or it can be external collaborations. However, without funding, we cannot do anything. That is why here usually we say in Malaysia, no money, no talk. So whenever we try to discuss with any company or whenever we try to discuss with any external party, so the discussions goes on for a long time and then there is nothing happening, then we usually say no money, no talk. So when we are approaching for the, here we try to, you try to understand what exactly is required for the academic staff or academicians, how we approach them. When we are talking about funding, the necessity is ours. So we are in the necessity, or we are trying to get money or getting financial assistance from the company. So we have to be proactive in getting the grants. So we have to get ready with the proper and awesome proposals. And you need to understand before you're going to a company, you need to understand what is the niche areas of research or what is the niche requirements for the industry, so that they will encourage me. So that they will give me some sort of money to do the research. Either it can be fundamental research, or it can be prototype research, or it can be translational research, or transdisciplinary research, or large type of research grants. So these kind of proposals you should have. Either it can be fundamental, or either it can be transdisciplinary, or it can be translational, or it can be large term fundamental research grants. So you can try to develop whatever you can. And another most important thing when you are dealing with research institutes or industries, most of the times you can go with prototype proposals, where you have minimum or preliminary result with your fundamental research. Then you can try to propose your prototype to the companies, so that the company may get attracted to your proposal, then try to give you some fund to do the prototype. And then once you have prototype, then you can go for transdisciplinary, then you can go for product development. So that is where, when you're trying to propose to the companies, to the industries, we need to understand their niche requirements and also niche areas of research, what is happening there and what exactly they are requiring at the moment. Don't think of their past and don't think of their future. At the moment, what they are requiring. So usually when you are dealing with industries, it is certainly a win-win situation. They try to ask you, okay, we give you 3 months grant, we give you 6 months grant, when you're going to give the results. Then you have to give your plan. By what month, what kind of outcome you will achieve. And it is not about research grants, which we get from the agencies. When you are getting the research grants from the industry, it is neck to neck. Always have to be very thorough. If you say September 31st, I will give you the result. By September 31st, you have to give the result. But with the government agency grants, it is not like that. We have our flexibility to do the research and finally we submit the final reports. So when we talk about funding, there are various types of fundings you can observe here. Central funding bodies, which are, various countries have various funding bodies. Even in Indian system also, you have lots of funding bodies, which is UGC, DST, DBT, and so on, ICMR. So once you have these central funding bodies, you can approach them. However, for this particular session, our main area or our main discussion is all about industry partners, how to choose industry partners. Even you can observe here, NGOs and foundations, they are also private. You can approach them for various types of grants. So this is not just restricted to drug discovery companies. Even NGOs, you can propose your proposal. You can say that, okay, my research will be linked to particular niche areas of your particular organization. Then I can be helpful in this area so that you can link up with other organizations as well. So you need to show them the path that where they will get attracted and they will get benefited so that they will give you the grants. And this is also another thing, donors or philanthropists. So you also need to understand who will give you the fund, who has lots of funds to provide for research, and you can approach them. So this is what I can do. So with this particular research outcome, you will be benefited in this manner. So there are various, not only restricted to one country, most of the countries, they have these particular donors and philanthropists where we usually get the grants. Even our research team have got some grants from donors and philanthropists where they usually fund very small amounts. Still, it is worth having them in your research. And CROs also, they usually go with the various types of research, and they give you the work to do various types of researches. So we also can get the research funds from there. And once you get your research, it all depends on what you explain to them. If it is industry, here lots of things need to be understood. Target identification, confidence in biological mechanism, animal model development. So all these things you have to clearly explain to them, and you have to execute them in time. On time, you have to give the outcome, and on time, you have to show them that, okay, we are going in online with the, in line with my particular Gantt chart or project. And lots of assays, even high throughput, this one, medicinal chemistry, lead optimization. So whatever you have mentioned, whatever you mention into your research proposal, this is completely to be done by the deadline what you have given to the industry. And finally, so these things should be achieved, whatever the promises we have given to the particular organization. And when you're going for bigger grants, they usually ask for these kind of activities, which is ADMET, which is absorption, distributions, and metabolism, excretion, and toxicology, scale-up, pharmacology, and clinical trials. So it depends on, as I have mentioned in the previous slide, in the very first slides, how long you are planning to do your research with them, and how short you want to do research with them, and how sustainable you want to do research with them. So based on that, the members in the team also will grow. It is not that we only can do, I cannot say that I will do all the research by my own, cannot. So it is always collaborations. So if you can collaborate with many people, you grow together and also you cherish together. So whenever you talk about industry partnerships, most of the times to develop the capability of using research knowledge for new products or services. So whatever the industry it can be, this is the core concept we all should remember, that to develop the capability of using the research knowledge for new products or services. So we have to give them the trust, or we have to give them the belief that, okay, if I collaborate with this particular research group, research team, my company will grow to the next level. That is why if you have observed the yesterday's speaker, Professor Redana sir, he is into various companies and he is advising so many companies, which means it is the built trust with the organizations, how you work, and based on your quality of outcomes. It is not the number, it is the quality. Quantity doesn't matter, but quality is most important when you are dealing with various types of stakeholders. This is certainly not the quantity. Quality is most important. That is where people will come to you. At the early stages, we have to go and ask them. We have to approach them to satisfy with our proposals. Then later on, once you give the quality outcome, the industries will definitely be with you. And these are 7 C's of strategic collaborations. So I have given the reference also here where I have taken this from. The clarity of purpose. This is what I have been mentioning since my first slide. Whenever you are approaching, your purpose should be very clear. You should know what you're talking to the companies, and you should know what will be your outcome, how you're going to give the outcome on time, and congruency of mission, strategy, and values. So whenever you are trying to propose something, you will be having your objectives. But when you are dealing with the industries, you have to go strategically, because the strategies between universities and central agencies, universities and industries should be vary. Should vary in different terms and conditions. And values will be the same most of the times. However, they differ based on the conditions. Creation of value, that is what? Creation of trust, creation of value is one of the most important things when you are dealing with the industries or companies. Connection with purpose and people, communication between partners. So why communication has been mentioned here? Whenever you are dealing with companies, the information what you're passing, the keywords what you're using is most important. Otherwise, some of the collaborations, they will be having MOU, memorandum of understanding, or memorandum of agreement. If it is memorandum of agreement, then both the parties are liable or eligible or restricted with the laws, various kinds of laws. If something happens wrong, the other party can sue the other party. And continual learning. So this is always like learning curve. Learning curve is always, it's constant. Whenever you are dealing with the companies, you have to share your knowledge. It is not that just companies will give you the fund. You have to share most of your knowledge, and you have to bring them in the form of products, where industry will sponsor you with the monies. And commitment to the partnership. That is what, whenever you are working with the industry partners or even agencies, central agencies, we have to work with commitment. You have to do your best, and you have to give your best outcomes on time, whatever you have been given in the proposal or in your Gantt chart or project. And what is the necessity when you are talking about any research industry partners? These are the main objectives: to develop better understandings of the impacts of HEIs on the innovativeness and competitiveness of regional economies, and also to identify different types of avenues through which university interact with local firms, businesses, and other intermediates in relation to research and innovative activities. So why we are talking about innovations here? So I'll be talking about that later. So innovations is the outcomes of your research. After your innovations, then innovations will be outcome of your research, then commercialization is the outcomes of your innovations. So this is a chain link: research, innovation, commercialization, and your product development and commercialization. Finally, you can become an entrepreneur. So the concept is like RICPE. So analyze how this in turn influences firm performance and overall competitiveness of local and regional economies. Whenever you are trying to discuss or whenever you are trying to have your collaborations with partners, industry partners, it is not only between you and your company, it is also directly and indirectly helping the economies of the region and of localities of your particular industries. So wherever you're working on a particular product, so this is in fact directly or indirectly showing impact on your locality and also your regional economies, either maybe in the form of employability, maybe in the form of product development. So when you are developing the product, it will be serving the society there, or serving the people across that locality and also the region, and also to the state, maybe to the nation, later on to international regions. Most of the time, we should remember these three things: knowledge development and growth, better education, and democratic developments. Whatever the relations, whatever the partnerships you have in the research academia and also industry collaborations, these three are the core values, because each perspective will be different. And whenever we talk about research partnerships between two universities or between two people or between industry or industry and university, various types of challenges will be there. Anyways, I have mentioned here few, but the first challenge is the trust. Number one is the trust between you and your collaborator, you and the other university, you and the research institute or the company, which we are mentioning here it as a industry. Second thing is simple lack of information about what is on offer from universities. So it is all terms and conditions. Whenever you are dealing with the company, all terms and references should be very clear. And it is all about trust and integrity, as I have mentioned earlier also. It has to be spelled out very clearly how this can be avoided. And specific challenge in supporting innovation activities will be to identify forms of commercialization of research innovations. Because why I have mentioned this one, I have seen some of the researchers, some of my colleagues, some of my friends, even some of my research team members, they also face these kind of things. That's where sustainability comes into the picture. When your terms and conditions at the beginning is not reflecting when the outcome has arrived, then there comes the splits, and there the sustainability ends. So there will be no sustainability for your product, for your trust, for your integrity. So that is where most of the times whenever you're dealing with the research, it all depends on your trust, integrity, and ethical values between two partners. Of course, when we have this research collaborations with the individuals or research teams or institutions or industries, you will have numerous benefits. However, these benefits depends on the individual perspectives and individual expectation. Whenever we have larger expectation, then definitely you have lower level of satisfaction. So that is why whenever we deal with any partnerships, we deal with any kind of research partnerships, so we have to understand the realistic outcomes. So we should not expect more than that and later on get less satisfaction, then finally splits and no sustainability to your research and also to the products. So here a few points I have mentioned, anyways, not going through each and everything. However, it's finally for the knowledge users in various ways and up to date with relevant research topics. And not only that, once you have these research collaborations, if you are an academic area or academic arena, so you will be having various types of publications, or you will be gaining lots of knowledge, and you will also be gaining some financial perks when you have patented your commercialized product. And once you have patented your commercialized product, you will be getting royalties. So which means the researcher, if the researcher has high quality works and researcher has high value knowledge, they will be getting good financial perks in terms of patent royalties and even as an advisory board member. So you will be gaining lots of knowledge, and you will be gaining lots of other information as well, other benefits as well. And later on, once you are being advising to different groups or different teams, or you're collaborating, your research outcome is very good, you will be notified and recognized by national and international platforms. So that is where you will be having lots of comments. Well, it is not about the individual. It is about the universities also, what exactly they have to do when they are trying to work on these particular partnerships. The universities here in Malaysia, in our research system, I'm as a researcher, so I will be having a deputy dean for research. Then we will be having deputy vice chancellor for research. Before deputy vice chancellor, there will be another director for research. So the process will be in every step, they will be having strategic screening of your proposal. The deputy dean level, there will be screening. Then it goes to the PPPI, which is Research Management Center. Then it will get screened there. They will send it to the external evaluators or internal evaluators, where your proposal will be screened thoroughly. Then finally, once your proposal is approved at that level, then it goes to the director of this particular Research Management Center. And once the director approves, then it goes to the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research and Innovation. So once you have processed and once you have passed all these particular levels, then you will be getting the grant. That is why evaluation criteria for the performance of universities and performance of grants and proposals should be clearly visible. And promotion of effective university and industry relations. So here we do have these kind of activities. We have particular sector under the director of RMAC, Research Management Center. We have one for commercialization, we have one for innovation, we have one for research. Again, these three components, they will be having another deputy directors. So where they will be discussing about, one only will be focusing on research, another one will be focusing on innovation, and another one will be focusing on commercialization. So this innovation deputy director will be mostly involved with this university industry relations. So that is where we try to get research grants from the industry, where the university finds a suitable candidate related to your research, irrespective of your knowledge, they will invite you for the meeting. So that is where you will get the opportunities. It is not that you always have to go to the industries, universities or colleges. It is not the universities, even colleges, since here 3 colleges are involving, Nizam College, City College, and Loyola Academy, which are very established colleges. So you also have to have your proactive role in identifying proper industries, biotech industries, or any natural product industries to the research staff or academic staff. So that is what the research centers or colleges or universities should do. They should have a setup accordingly and better exploit the results of their knowledge in relationship with industry. Yes, as I have clearly mentioned and stressed out in the same thing in the previous slides as well. Whenever you have the relationship or whenever you have partnership with the industry, it is always win-win situation. It is not that you can do the job, today's job tomorrow. No. If you can do today's job now, it's much better when you're dealing with the industries. So that is how they work. They always outcome based. We always, they are target based, and we are trying to take the things in a very lenient manner. And innovations, yes, most of the times when you have your research, we usually don't think of innovations, but whenever you think very deeply and whenever you try to give your way to innovations from your research, definitely there is a way to do. And that's where innovations comes into the picture from the academia. And licensing of university intellectual properties. This is another typical part, which especially if I want to give you some information in Malaysian context, we have one particular unit for this intellectual properties, which I have mentioned 3 subunits. So one particular subunit will be dealing about all these IPO, intellectual properties rights, IPRs, and also copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, everything. So this particular unit will be clearly monitoring whether your research is going on properly or not, whether your product is getting commercialized or not, or whether your innovations are, up to the mark or not. If your research is not going up to the mark, they will call you for the meeting and they will ask you why it is not happening according to your proposal. And start up new companies. This is again, yesterday there was an announcement about the FABA, which I'm also looking into Malaysian region. I'm the in charge for FABA. FABA has started up lots of new companies. So it can be a student company. It can be, new innovative thoughts, and so that they can be having lots of companies under that organization. So you will be having new companies also. So that is where universities has to play, or any institute, research institute, or any colleges has to play a role where to set up these kind of things. This is not only beneficial to the academic staff, this is not only beneficial to the researcher, however, this will in fact beneficial to the organization. So this is how people think. Whatever we talk and whatever we talk big and whatever we talk less, at the end of the day, everybody is human mind and everybody will have their perspectives and priorities. So academics, they usually have these priorities, research priorities set by investigator, which is the principal investigator. In industry, it is set by the management. And here we always seek for the grants. They are seeking for the profits. These are the differences you can say. Usually when we are talking about grants, we only seek the grants. Whereas when we are talking about industry people always talking about profits. And they are very sharp. If they say one time, you have to give the results by that time. And we are more interested in publications. They are more interested in writing. Patenting driven by publications, patenting driven by business discussions. Yeah, our patents are different. Academic patents, you may have hundreds of patents, but if at least one of your patents are not commercialized, it's of no use. It's only for the number. However, if you have one commercialized patent, then you will be having lots of other business discussions, other business deals, and also other business explorations with other companies as well. And here you have serendipity. I mean, easily you get satisfied, and they will be having control. Transfer at early stage. Usually we try to give away our products, our results easily, but they will think of add value before transferring it to. And these are another slide I wanted to give you. Show you about perspective from the university, how we think application of research for good, and also exposure to industry collaborations, additional source of research funds, be it research endowment, reward or investigator or inventor. These are our perspectives from the university. You know, when we are thinking of industry, we will think of all this. But when it is from the industry, great sources of new and innovative ideas and technologies, they will think of us, they will think of university like this. Great sources of new and innovative ideas and technologies, so that researchers and academic staff, academicians will have more ideas, new knowledge through various readings, and also through working out on various aspects. And they also think that, okay, academic staff or research scholars, we can just give them small perks, and then we can get them into license technology. So we usually are not, in the state universities or small institutions, they usually are not interested in finalizing the products into the commercialization scale. Whereas in central universities and IITs or IISc, the scenario is different. Yeah, since we are all from science background, so this is one of the most important slide I want to explain to you here about how we can go with the science and technology, our research. First of all, any research can get materialized with conceptualization of the idea. And later on, if you have good facilities, good technologies, your research and your conceptualization of the idea can, take deep, and you can just do your research in a better way, so that your research outcome will be very good. Finally, once you have got your fundamental research outcomes, which means your basic research outcomes, which you will be having prototype with you. Once you have your prototype, that is where I have explained it very clearly. You can try to discuss or liaise or negotiate with the industry partners, where they can give you some financial support, or even industries, or even universities, or even NGOs. You can approach anyone who you can trust and where you can get the funding from. Then once you get the funding for your prototype, then you can think of scaling up, how you can scale up with the same quality at larger quantity, same quantity with a larger production. Then you can go with the product development. Once you have this particular prototype successfully developed in a scale-up manner, then you have your product with you. So once you have your product, then you can slowly make it into small-scale industries, small-scale manufacturing, maybe which might be sufficient for the localities. Then later on, once you have everything, you have to go with this market survey. Once you have this small-scale manufacturing, you have to go with market survey. Or once you have your product development, or once you have your product in your hand, you can go with the market survey. After market survey, you can go with the small-scale manufacturing, and then finally, from small-scale manufacturing, you can go with the commercialization. This is easily happened with the industry partnerships. However, if you have major grants or major research grants, then definitely you can scale up your own things. But when you have major research grants, your objectives might be different. It might be only linking with the research, publications, and patents, but may not be with the products. So if your research grants have this kind of structure, then certainly that is okay. Economic benefits. Whenever you are talking about research outcomes, so these are the economic benefits: licensing, generation of knowledge, creation of new capital, capital investments, influence on regional milieu, production of knowledge infrastructures, regional leadership, technological innovations, and knowledge transfer. And if I have to give you a scenario from a Malaysian perspective, from Malaysian perspective, we have grants for fundamental research, which we usually call them as fundamental research grant schemes. And we also have specific grants from the government, which is prototype research grants, which is only given priority to the prototypes. If you have prototypes from your previous and preliminary or basic research, you will be getting that prototype grants, which is very huge grants also. Then once you have prototype, you have another specific grant called Transdisciplinary Research Grant Scheme, which gives much more bigger grants than prototype. Once you have this TRGS, which is transdisciplinary, then you will get niche research grant, which may go into millions, or even sometimes billions of ringgits. So you will be having various types of opportunities once you are going into the path linking your research from one grant to another grant. This is one of the most important things we should take care of, conflict of interest. Whenever you're dealing with industries, as I have mentioned to you very clearly in the very beginning, it's all about integrity, it's all about trust. Once you have trust and integrity, then there is no space for this conflict of interest. If you do not build up trust and integrity or transparency with the industry partners, then there will be COI, which is conflict of interest, every area of your research or every stage of your research. So we have to be very careful when we are dealing with the industry partners. So these are the main components why COI comes into the picture. Researchers and industry have multiple roles with various interests, because industry partners, they have their own interest, they have their own expected outcome, and even academicians or academic staff, we have our own expectations. So then when it is not reaching, COI will occur. And most of the times we must remember COI is a very gray area. So we can try to avoid it and we can try to stuck with it. So that is where you have to really act smart when we are dealing with the industrialists or with the industry representatives. Policies to consider. Whenever you're discussing with any industries, these are various policies you have to consider. So hope I still have some time, Dr. Sambashiva.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Yeah. So yeah, these are the policies which you really have to understand before you're signing with any industry partners. So how exactly employment policies, whether if we get good products, how will be the employments and how will be the intellectual properties, how will be the rights, how will be the shares, and once it is commercialized, how will be the royalties. So all those things need to be clearly spelled out. Then intellectual properties. Once you have intellectual properties, these are various things you need to consider: ownership, transfer of ownership, rights and obligations of faculty, rights and obligations of the university, royalty sharing, waivers. So here usually whenever we have any research grants, university will have the ownership. If the majority of the portion from the industry, then we will have discussions who should have the ownership and who should have the majority of the portion, who should have lion share, who should have minimum percentage, all those stuff. Technology transfer, this also needs to be clearly dealt and clearly spelled out before you sign any agreement with the industries. Generate licensing revenue and research funding, development of university technology products, provide revenue for faculty members to interact with business, stimulate economic development, generate favorable publicity of the university. So these are all, if you observe again, these are all another core components in one particular aspect of ranking of the universities and ranking of the countries as well. Okay, I will just go through this very quickly. This is actually Malaysian context. We have this public-private research network. This is actually a scheme where I have taken some few points from the site and then I'm showing it to you. The main objective is to give, is to encourage the academic staff to solve any problem which is existing in the companies. So this is mainly to solve the problems and to get benefited from the partnerships. mainly to strengthen public-private networking. So the higher education institutions and also private organizations. Yeah, this is one thing I wish to show you. This is how usually the contributions according to the company size. If it is a micro company, the company contributions only 10%, and the PPRN, which is from the government, is 90%. And small scale industries, 30% from the company contribution, 70% will be the PPRN contributions. Medium, 50-50. Large, majority of the portion from the company, and 30% will be from the PPRN. Even I also had this grant last time, so which we have come up with the product. I will be showing later on. And these are all regulations for the industries, what they should have, what they should contain. And this is the regulations or instructions for the authors. This is the researchers. Yeah. And internationalization, yes, I think the similar kind of information been presented by speaker yesterday as well. So why I'm showing this ranking here, ranking and partnership, since we are talking about internationalization, this is about internationalization. Since I am as a internationalization head for this particular FPSK University of Malaysia Sabah, so usually we consider these particular aspects as well. Academic reputation, which means it goes to the individual. Employer reputation, which goes to the university. Faculty and student ratio, which goes to 20%. Citations per paper, 20%. International faculty ratio, 5%, and international student ratio, 5%. Where all these components usually, especially these things, faculty, employer reputation, and academic reputation, these two involved with the industry relations and also industry partnerships as well. That is why I wanted to link this particular information. Otherwise, I have few slides with these particular rankings, but I have removed everything since you have got ample information yesterday. So this is how exactly they try to compartmentalize when they are trying to go for the rankings. And international collaborations are really must, where faculty exchanges, student exchanges, joint research grants, exploring the possibilities for further researches and other areas of research. So these are the core components of any international collaborations. This is what we do usually, and also the other universities. Even previous university also, I was heading the international collaborations. Even for National Academy, I was the deputy chairman for international collaborations in 2018. So we usually go with this standard core motives, where faculty exchange, student exchange, joint research grants, joint publications, and conferences, all these things are very core motives. And this is just list of international grants. I just want to show to all the participants. This is not just for one country. Most of the countries for across the globe you can apply. You can just have a look into these grants. So if you want to have this list, I can share the grant list later to the organizer, so we can take care of it. So see here, lots of grants are available, for the researchers across the globe, and they will be with lots of deadlines as well. This is what usually I provide at the beginning of the year to my university, so that everybody can take a look. They can jot down the dates of the deadlines. And hopefully we have reached the end. So this is the final core message, take-home message from the industry relations with academia. To assure a sustainable collaboration, the value created must be useful to society, and the value must flow to all core partners. And finally, creating a partnership is a continual learning process with the potential for unexpected lessons. So if you want to have sustainability, you have to be ready with all these things. So we have to be very transparent, integrity, and also with trust containing the ethics. Yeah, these are few innovation awards from my innovations, which again, this is also from industry partners, where I got some basic research. Then we have competed in the national level competitions. And this is the work on spirulina. Spirulina is one of the biological products where it has got multiple biological potential. So this also got very good applause, and we also got good recognition award for this. And this is for the nanoparticles. This also I got international grant from one of the donors. So this also got good results, and we got international awards for this particular grant. Only these three I'm showing because these three from the industry and donor partnerships grants. And these are all the industry outcomes of my previous grants. This is vinegar, which we have produced from different types of fruits. So we have some products. And honey also, honey research is one of the most important research with the private partners. So we have got some outcomes as well. And for this company, I'm the consultant, where we have produced biological products, which even these two are biomedical products, vinegar and honey. And this is a biological food product, which has lots of health benefits as well, low glycemic. And spirulina, this is what I was mentioning in the previous slide. We got the one here. Spirulina, this is from our lab, from our team, where we got this biological product with lots of biomedical applications. And this is also the support from the government as well as the private partnerships. This is another one food product which we have produced with another private partnerships, where this is also one of the big, considerably big grant or major research grant from the private partners. And finally, I want to acknowledge this. Actually, this is a very big grant. This is actually 50 million ringgit grant, which is approximately in Indian rupees 10 crore rupees. So recently, one of my collaborators, he got it. So I'm one of the team of this project. This is also private partnerships, which means if the researcher has got proactiveness, so this particular researcher is very proactive, and he used to have lots of meetings, to get this particular money. At least 1.5 years he has discussed. Finally, he got this grant. And I finally thank to all my collaborators across the world. With that, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful talk.
Shweta madam, unmute yourself. Shweta madam, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
This, sorry. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for wonderful talk. And thank you for emphasizing the importance of collaborations. And, you have given how the industry and academia collaborations are possible. Thank you for this wonderful talk. Now the session is open for the discussion. All the participants are requested. If you have any queries, you can ask. So in the chat box, there is a question, sir. It is from T. Chaitanya. So they are saying that their research area is mainly focuses on plant-based nanoparticles. So can you please suggest how to get small to large financial support to carry on my work? So that is the question from Chaitanya.
Yeah. So the faculty member, right?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes,
I
sir,
address.
yes.
I address. Thank you, Dr. Chaitanya, for this question. Well, how to get small to large financial support to carry on my work? That's a good question. However, the possibilities in your area and in your locality and in your surroundings should be well known by you. And second thing is, this is actually self-explanatory and also self-exploratory process where you can get various types of grants. But my suggestion for you to go and approach the natural product companies where you will be having small scale industries within your area. I'm not sure from which area you are from. And you can also approach pharmacology and toxicology laboratories where you can get some sort of funding. And otherwise, you can also go and approach some of the NGOs where you can try to convince them and get some small portion of the money from where they get from central agencies. So this is how usually you can interact with them. But finally, I can only give you a suggestion, but at the end of the day, you have to go and convince them, in an appropriate manner and also in a convincing manner. Hopefully, you will get it successfully, maybe in the future. Yeah, that is what my suggestion. You can contact these different types of companies where they can, it is always win-win situation. They should get convinced with your idea, and they will always be looking for the profits. Okay, we give you 1 lakh Indian rupees, or we give you 5 lakh Indian rupees. What is the outcome from your research? How, in what way it is beneficial to our company? So these things you need to have the justifications before they ask you the question. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. One more question, sir, from the Dr. Nasrat K. Sheikh. So they are asking, I developed newer bioanalytical methods on newer anti-diabetics. How to get financial support for that? Can you please suggest? So this is from Dr. Nasrat.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dr. Nasrat. Actually, you have the products with you, and it is much easier way to approach the industries. Whereas maybe you can approach the formulation companies. There are hundreds of formulation companies which are not MNCs. They may be small scale industries. You can approach them, and also another approach, you can go to the multinational companies. So where if your analytical methods are really work for them to take in, then definitely they will support you, because MNCs, they have larger portion of amount to compartmentalize for every aspect. See, so if your analytical methods or your anti-diabetics or anti-diabetic agents, what you have prepared or developed. So if they are really potential, certainly they will support. So these two organizations you can try to approach, and you will get succeeded. And another thing is, you can try to approach CROs as well. They will be looking for the people who where they can get help. Contract research organizations. So where you can be helpful to them, so that they will encourage you with the grants.
Thank you, sir. So participants interact with the sir. Still, is having any doubts, you are free to interact with the sir.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have doubt about this honey production, sir. How can we have to collaborate, and what type of opportunities are there for this related?
Sorry, honey?
Yeah, yes.
Honey production? Can you please repeat the question?
How can we get honey production collaborations with the research activities with industrialists?
Well, okay, I will share with my experience. Usually I work on honey as well. Since past decade, I'm working on honey, and I'm working on even anti-diabetic activities of honeys and other activities of honeys. So in my experience, we have approached one of the honey businessmen. Even we do have our own honey formulations and our own honey bee farms, but we have approached another competitor, I would say. However, they will not, consider you as competitor since you are in the academic. We do have bee farms. In my university, we have our bee farms, and even we have our own business, me and another lecturer. But when we approach them, they will not feel you as a competitor. They will feel you as an advisor who can help you, who can help them in terms of quality management of the honey. And another thing, you must be having focused points, how you can convince them, where they can get attracted to your ideas. So that is the most important thing. So even you can go and approach your competitors since you are into the academics. If you have the bee, cultivations of bee cultures, so if you can approach the other competitor who are only dealing with the businesses, they can support you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody is having any questions or doubts? So if there are no questions, now I request Dr. Sambashiva sir to give session conclusion remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Pasupuleti ma'am. So first of all, we must congratulate Professor Dr. P.V.Rao garu, and he is proud to say that he is Indian, and he is one of the greatest scientists chosen by Stanford University recently, a couple of months back, and 2% scientists, the eminent scientists who are working across the world. And congratulations for that one, sir. We are very happy to say that you are from our Andhra Pradesh. Thank you. The second point is, and I would like to inform everyone that recently I had conversation with Rao garu daily regarding this FDP program. 2 months back, the idea was generated by this conversation, that how to conduct the FDP program and what are the thrust areas and what we are looking and everything. Every day, morning and evening, there is no time limit for the discussions. All the way, he supported to materialize this FDP program along with Professor garu. Because the two speakers, the first technical session speaker, Dr. Gopal Sirasani garu, as well as the tomorrow speaker, these two speakers are identified by Dr. Rao garu. So in this connection, first of all, my sincere thanks from my bottom of heart to Rao garu for identifying the great speakers. When it comes to the Dr. Rao's today's talk, he explained in detail about different kind of collaborations. First slide itself, he shown that how the academia industry collaborates and what are the different types of methods or various ways to sustain further for better future of the industry and academic symbiosis. When you see the Rao education, if you observe clearly, he completed his internship at a reputed industry, that is Biocon, where he developed the compounds, where this first initial step reminds us we must send our students to the industry. We must send our students to the industries, then only they'll get good exposure and they'll come to know about the importance of the industries in the developing of the novel products or byproducts. And Dr. Rao explained about the various natural products, medicinal plants and their extraction methods and technologies in the nanotechnology and how the drug discovery process takes place by identifying different targets by the action of these molecules which are present in the crude extracts. And these various drug discovery methods are employed to get a particular molecule which is having therapeutic nature. And one more thing is that Rao explained about the industry and university collaborations. Among all these industry and academic collaborations, the first and most important point is the trust and transparency between these two partners. This trust and transparency and hand-to-hand cooperation will lead to a successful symbiosis, and which construct a strong pathway or bridge between these two when you build the trust and transparency. To build and trust and transparency, the academic institutions should have a knowledgeable resources and research activities in the respective institutions. Second, Dr. Rao said clearly that the 7C strategic collaborations. Without clarity, there is no collaboration. Without value, creation of the value, there is no successful collaboration. And concentrate and connection to the purpose, or what purpose you are collaborating with industry. What is your motto? What is the purpose that you are collaborating? If you are seeking the industry symbiosis. And the continuation learning process should be transformed between the both industry as well as the academic institutions. And the final most important C is the commitments that established between these two should be carried out smoothly. Then only a successful collaboration will be established between the academic and industry. And Sir said clearly that the necessity is plays a key role in a successful collaboration between industry and academics, because the innovations are the outcome of your research work and collaboration. If there is no innovation, definitely there will be no successful collaboration between the industry and academic, because innovations plays a crucial role in successful collaboration. Why? Because as Rao said that clearly, he mentioned clearly that the industry always thinks about the profits, because industries are run, they should feed the employees and they will be open to the market. So the innovations plays a crucial role in successful collaboration between the industry and academic. And Dr. Rao said clearly that there are different areas of collaborations. It should be knowledge or developing the products. It could be anything. And among other points, I observed that Dr. Rao said clearly that the universities play a crucial role in the successful collaboration, because the certain academic institutions have certain kind of limitations to approach the industry, because the industry people will not encourage the individual academics unless you have some different kind of products or some kind of innovative ideas. That's what we observed recently also. So our universities should take lead that the academic institutions also can collaborate with the industries, because there are certain policy decisions should be taken to build a strong academic and industry symbiosis. And I definitely agree with Dr. Rao. We must be proactive in identifying industry, because if you see the example, my lab, I am working on the bioprocess and fermentation mechanism. So I should choose the industry widely that who are working on my similar line, because we must be proactive. I am working on the natural product. Suppose accepting that if I go to the beverage industry, they will not open the door for me. So we must be proactive in choosing and identifying the industry. Definitely, sir, I agree with this point. Another point is, so the perspective of industry, as per the new education policy, the government of India opened the doors for everyone. So if anybody interested in any field, we can go and learn. So these kind of programs makes a structural pathway for future industry and academic symbiosis. And the science and technology plays a crucial role in industry and academic symbiosis. Why? Because the science and technologies are the research and development, both join hands together, and they develop a product which should have a commercial value. Then only a successful industry and research collaboration will be established. And the policies should be considered, because this is the important point that Rao mentioned that. Because if you see the education policy that what we are having, I can't say that outdated, but it should be reformed as per the industry needs. Now industries everything changed as per the globalization, everything changed. The automations, the novel technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning playing a crucial role in the field of life sciences also. So in this regard, the policies to be changed as per the industry norms, and then only the industry and academic symbiosis will take place. This is my personal opinion. And Dr. Rao clearly mentioned about the intellectual property rights, that how the intellectual property rights are also plays a crucial role to build a trust and transparency in collaboration with the industry. So in this point, the higher education system should play a crucial role in this IPR, because the most of the faculty will not aware about these IPR rights. Why? Because we are not doing any innovative thinking, innovative research work. Why? Because there are so many reasons we have due to the limitations. We are not going to the mark. So each and every faculty should know about these intellectual property rights. Is still clear. And the one more thing is that Rao said that about the public and private partnership in the field of research and development. I do agree, sir, because the public and private research was completely it will be very helpful for all the academic institution. But in India, I don't know, I have not seen. Regarding this, I would like to ask you a few questions after this. So if you see the overall talk of today's Dr. Rao talk, it gives a crystal clear picture about how the education system or industries should collaborate with the industries. Because if there is no industry and academic collaborations, definitely the education system going to fail. Why? Because if you see the biotechnology, especially the life sciences, we have tremendous applications. We have tremendous future for our students. The thing is, we must motivate ourselves and encourage our students to reach the industry. It is small or medium or big industry, whatever it may be. Ask them to visit the industries. So I would like to say thank from the organizers, behalf of organizers, and my sincere thanks to Dr. Rao for joining us today in spite of his busy schedule, because he is very busy with his activities. He is one of the important person in the University of Malaysia Sabah and all. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Sambashiva.
Sir.
Yeah, you have mentioned about many things. You know, even off record, we have discussed so many things. It is not necessary.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in this connection, I would like to ask one question, if you allow me. You said about the public-private partnership. How do you think that this model is suitable for Indian institutions?
Yes, certainly. If there is a possibility, then that should definitely arise.
Because what I observed is the government institutions will not allow the private parties. How to overcome this?
No, that system should come. Actually, if they want to go hand in hand, and if the research outcome should give better impact, they should allow.
Yeah.
And private organizations should come forward to help government organizations.
Okay.
And government organizations should come forward to give their knowledge to the private organizations. So as I said, it is win-win situation. And when you have dealings with the private organizations, so you should be clearly written everything as MOA. If dealing with financial implications, usually should go with MOA, Memorandum of Agreement, not understanding. So once you have this MOA, if they break the rules, or if your organization breaks the rules, they are liable to the, any kind of court sues. So they can sue you and you can sue them. So the arrangement should be made in that particular scenario, so that the works will happen very well. And I'm not sure why the government organizations are not, allowing the private organizations to come in. So that is a bit different. Here, we are always waiting when the public-private organizations come and approach us. But we have our system. Many private organizations, they come. If they don't know the researcher in that particular area, they will contact the university. The university unit will contact us. So recently, a big industry has approached university, and it is completely related to my research. Then the university asked me to go for the meeting. I am not aware of the industry. So which means university has the setup. So university has the understanding or awareness of which researcher is doing what kind of work. So it is a complicated system though. It can be implemented in Indian system as well. But policies and strategies should be clearly spelled out.
Yes, it matters. Yes, sir. And one more thing, sir. Just now you mentioned about the ranking, worldwide ranking. They consider by seeing certain points, academic reputation and employment reputation. Do you think that because our education system will not allow the foreign faculty or foreign students to study, foreign faculty to work in our institutions? So in that criteria, how you comment on these rankings or affect the education system?
Well, I'm not really sure how. It's been more than a decade. I'm outside India, and I really don't know how Indian universities are allowing foreigners to teach or not. But in fact, I have seen some of the foreigners in central organizations like IASC, NCBS, Tata organizations. I have worked last time with NCBS, and for a short stretch of time. So I know some of the foreigners, they come there as a faculty mobility. They come for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. But in state setups, I'm not very sure. I don't think they have this foreign.
Yes, sir. My point also the same, sir. So when the foreign faculty are teaching, they come and join with our state universities. Then only we can see these kind of the academic reputations will be increased.
Yes. So it is only a strategy for the rankings. That is why most of the foreign countries, they recruit foreigners, and they try to retain foreigners certain percentage, especially as I have shown in the picture. It can be around 5 to 10% based on the needs and requirements of the faculty and the university.
Yes.
So if they do not have 5 to 10%, they will again recruit. If, say, for example, one foreign lecturer resigned and he lived to another country, then they will immediately call for another foreigner. So that's how the system works.
Yes, absolutely. We want the same kind of system here itself. So I hope that some of the government officials, the faculty,
you have good advisors even for this FTP. You are even involving the Telangana State Board and also the Education Department.
Definitely, we'll put all this work
they are the
in front
ones
of the.
Who will make the policies and who will make it.
Definitely, yes, definitely, sir. We'll put all these points in front of our Chairman Telangana State Council for Education, and we'll see that the things will happen as we discussed here. So, any questions from participants? Any more questions? Because we would like to conclude the session of this day 3. I hope there is no questions. Yeah, fine. Once again, I congratulate all the organizers and who made their continuous efforts to make the day fruitful for all the participants. And in this connection, I would like to convey my thanks to the Professor Narayana Garu, Principal, Nizam College, and Dr. Balabhaskar Garu, Principal, Government City College, and further Joji Reddy, Principal, Government City, Loyola Academy, as well as, and I would like to say thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ravindra Garu, and giving this opportunity to conduct this 1-week FDP program online. And last but the least, I should say my thanks, sincere thanks from the bottom of heart to Dr. Rao Garu, because he is the man continuously supported me and made the things in a smoother way, as well as made the things in possible way to conduct this FDP program and to materialize this FDP program successfully during these days. And once again, I thank to all for making this program successful And Dr. Rao Garu, one more again, thanks you too for coming this day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Congratulations and all the best for next 3 days.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Well, sorry. All the participants, can you switch on your video? Please, we'll take a group photo. Please, all the participants, switch on your videos. So, I would like to take the one photograph. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So herewith we are going to conclude this today's session, and we will see you tomorrow all. And tomorrow we are going to have world-renowned scientist, Dr. Angley. He is a member of the World Gastroenterologist. And tomorrow we are going to see some beautiful images also. I hope so that, I don't know.
He's a medical doctor. You will be having a good session with him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, and congratulations, Shiva, sir. Congratulations.
Yeah, Nagaraj sir. He is
Successful organization.
He is Dr. Nagaraju. He is my senior.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Kumarji. Thank you. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Bye-bye.